Hi guys, Alex here, and today is the day of the week when your pickle is about to get tickled. So get your pickles out and ready, and let's see what we're gonna tickle them with today. We have miracle blankets that solve all your financial problems. We have rail bikes. We have Quentin Tarantino and interesting statements from childhood. We have AI taking over complex jobs and reverse aging with poop. Kid you not, it's actual real science. We have some other sprinkling news in between, so let's smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let's get to this exciting dance episode. Jumping right in, we have Jim Bakker, the convicted fraudster and felon, and basically a cunt, because there's no other words to describe it, using a simple-minded people that believe anything they see on TV to sell them whatever bullshit that he can come up with. In this episode, he came up with probably the best thing you could imagine. It's a $1,000 US dollar miracle blanket that solves all your financial troubles. Obviously, the way he presents it, and I quote, I'll read, I'm just going to reiterate that I want you, when you order this $1,000, to do it in faith. That 1,000 seed in faith, believing that this is part of your seed into the kingdom of God. What the fuck? Literally, from one side, you think Jim Bakker would, right? Using dumb people and God, of course, what else, to take money from people that don't know better. But then you think about it, and if you're one of those people that spend $1,000 US on a person who's a convicted felon, I don't actually know why he's still allowed to be on TV, but to spend $1,000 US on a miracle blanket that solves your financial troubles, you probably deserve to be for your money to be taken away from you. Anyway, so let's not go into it, but yes, something to be aware of. $1,000 miracle blankets that solve all your problems, of course. Next news. Next up, a quick news about Parallels Desktop 17 app. Not sponsored by it, just read about it and found it pretty cool. Because in my day, if you wanted to run Windows on like a Ubuntu or on Mac OS, it's supposed to be quite difficult. You need to get, virtual machine started and get, have some computer knowledge to make it run. This app actually allows you to just download the app, double click on it, and you have your latest Windows 11 running on your M1 or Intel chip Mac OS, which is pretty cool, pretty simple, and something I didn't know about that existed. And now you know about it as well. To the next news. Next up is rail bikes. Are rail bikes. Get my grammar right. Anyway, super exciting, not really invention, but a cool thing that came about. So in US, you have a lot of railways which are abundant, and they go through like different forests and very picturesque areas. One way you could go on foot and cover some of it, or some smart person decided to put a bicycle on railway wheels, put it on rails, and go around the abundant railways. What? Exciting. Super cool. This little device looks absolutely amazing. Well, it's not little, but it looks super cool, super simple. Jump in and cycle your way through a beautiful forest without having to walk all this distance. You can cover much more distance and see much more on this rail bike. Plus you get to explore the abundant railways, which is always cool and exciting. And I hope more things like this will come to our lives in the near future, because God knows we need to exercise more. We're fat pieces of shit. That's true, I'm speaking from experience. To the next news. Next up is the news about the abundant like button underneath this video. Take your pickle out and poke it with your pickle. Come on, just do it. Hit that subscribe button as well, that'll be pretty cool. We'll be very thankful if you do, helps this channel grow. And thank you. To the next news. Next up is a parenting story from Quentin Tarantino, which is super exciting. So when he was 12, he used to write screenplays in schools. Teachers didn't like it because instead of learning calculus, he was writing screenplays. And the teacher called his mom in and said, look, this guy is not learning anything, he's writing his screenplays, he needs to stop. His mom sided with the teacher and said, look, your little, and I quote, your little writing career, that shit is over. Quentin, then 12, he was like, okay, I see how it is, mom. Yeah, when I become a successful writer, I will not give you a penny. No Cadillac for you, no house, no phone, no bullshit. I'm not gonna give you anything because words have consequences, especially when you're talking about something that's dear to the child's heart. And he sticks to it to this day. He is pretty old at the moment. I don't actually know how old he is, so here's the number. And to this day, he didn't give a penny of his money to his mom from the career that he made in writing screenplays and making movies, directing movies and that side of things. And he said it's a very important lesson to learn for parents, that every little sarcastic tone that you take when you're talking about something that your kids actually passionate about, it has consequences. And yes, in this scenario, he's not giving anything to his mom, but in most other cases, when your child comes to you and he's like, I want to be a blogger, and you're like, why? Come on, the kid just wants to be something. He just realized, or she realized, that that's what she or he wants to do. Let them do it. Support them. Support your kids. It takes very little to support somebody to do something, like hitting the like button or subscribe button or writing a comment like, hi you bald dick, I like your videos. Minimum effort. Anyway, something for you to know from Quentin Tarantino, and maybe when you are raising your kids and they're writing screenplays in school, you will support them instead of punishing them, and then you will get a cut of the money that they will make when they grow up. Investment strategy. To the next news. Next up is Samsung using AI to develop chips for phones and other technology. It's actually not only Samsung, but Google, Apple, Microsoft, and all of those big guys are tending towards using AI to develop chips. The reason being is that usually it is very expensive. You have some people, very limited amount of them, with decades of experience in developing chips, who spend months on developing a chip, and usually done by intuition. They kind of have a feel for it, what is right, what is wrong, what is going to be beneficial, efficient, and so on. So there isn't like a formula that you can follow. And some people thought, why are we paying a lot of money for those people and spending so much time on developing chips when we can use and train AI to do that? And that's what they're doing. I haven't checked this information, but I think one of the first who's using AI in chips that already are in Galaxy Z Flip phones, for example, that have been developed and designed by AI. Wow. So if you thought AI is taking most of the jobs over for low-skilled people, it's coming for very high-end people as well, like lawyers and chip designers. So nobody is safe. And if you want to be safe from AI, just know that you can't, and better join it than trying to fight it. And you can be one of those people who develop an AI algorithm that can do something super cool and exciting and better than humans, which is super cool because then you can free people to do whatever else that they really want to do, like painting or watching porn. I don't know. Anyway, to the next news. Next up is the news about Crackdown on piracy streaming. And this one hits close to home because who haven't watched an episode of American Dad on a dodgy website or Family Guy or any TV series out there? And the problem with this is there was an interview of a guy called Kieran Sharp who works in anti-piracy organization called FACT. And basically what he said is that they are cracking down now. They're preparing something to crack down on people that actually consume the pirate media, not only on people that distribute the stolen TV shows and stuff. And I think that's a big problem because what happens is you have people that don't make a lot of money, that can't afford to literally spend the money to watch the bloody TV shows because they're bloody expensive. And the huge corporations, I don't think they're losing out on that much money. Like literally, look at any single media corporation out there, look at their top management and what cars they're driving, what houses they have and all that bullshit. It's like, you make enough money. Leave the bloody poor people alone. How much they're losing out? 100 million, 200 million, $1 billion a year? Maybe that is a stretch, but like, let's say it's $1 billion or $2 billion across the whole of the networks, just not just a particular company, but just in general of stolen media. $2 billion out of $1 trillion? Leave the bloody people alone. And the way they look at it is basically when you steal a TV show, what happens is companies that produce TV shows, they don't want to take risks because basically they're risking the TV show is going to be stolen and pirately streamed, so they will not get any money from it, so their margin goes down, so they decide not to invest money into risky projects. And we as consumer are not benefiting because we don't have a variety of shows. The way I see it, at the moment we have plenty of streaming services, like everyone has a streaming service, bloody everyone. And basically, if you want to watch American Dad, you need one subscription. You want Rick and Morty, it's another subscription. You want Game of Thrones, it's another thing. You want something else, it's another thing. And it's like $200, £200 for all the subscriptions out there to see different TV shows. You subscribe to Netflix to watch one thing, Amazon Prime to watch another thing, HBO Max for another thing, Disney for another thing. It's like, I just want to watch one show. I don't need a subscription to the whole thing forever. And I think that's pretty annoying. So basically my point of this news is be aware that there's something is coming. So keep an eye out for that. And the way I see it, that we should just let people that don't have the money to just stream things for free. It's difficult. So for fuck's sake, TV shows, just give people a break, right? That's all we're asking for, just a little help. Anyway, so something for you to be aware of, and to the next news. Next up is news about reversing aging. Kid you not, things have actually improved. So in 1800s, there was a Russian scientist, of course. Who else dares to, do the weird stuff? It's the Russians. Look at this guy, massive beard, long hair. That's how Russians looked like back in the 1800s. So he's there, a scientist, wants to reverse aging. And he thought, maybe, and he thought about it before he died, of course, so he couldn't experiment. But his idea was that microbiome in our gut actually has a very big role to play in terms of how our aging process works, because there is some evidence to show that basically your brain, as it gets older, it changes your microbiome, or other way around, we don't know yet. So some scientists literally right now, like in the past 2 years, decided to take up this interesting idea and do some investigations. And what they found is they took a mice, right, and they fed it properly and changed their microbiome. So an old mice changed their microbiome, and looks like their cognitive abilities improved. So they can do the maze better and they have a better memory. So they're like, okay, interesting. So what they're going to do next, they did next, is they took a young mice and they took an old mice. And they took poop from the young mice, put it into the old mice, basically put the microbiome of the young mice into the old mice, and they saw that the cognitive abilities of the old mice improved. So they basically saw not only the cognitive abilities, but the actual brain itself started to reverse the aging process. So the older mice started to behave and started to feel basically like younger mice by changing the microbiome, which kind of conclusively shows that your microbiome has a direct impact on the aging process of your brain. So mice with a transplant of young poop, they are much faster, much smarter, they work better, they have better memory, they solve mazes faster than the standard mice of the same age. So something for you to know, a microbiome is very important for you and how you feel. That's very true, and I just started to realize that. So have a look at how you eat. If you never have energy, you're always tired and you feel like shit, which I, God knows, do from time to time, the big chance is that it has something to do with how you eat. Kid you not. And spoiler alert, obviously all the good stuff like the cereal, bloody burritos, which are delicious, fried food, and all the good stuff is what makes you feel like shit. No! I know, yeah, life is like that. Everything that's supposed to be bad for you is very, very nice and it feels very good. But it is life, it is what it is. And something for you to know, you can reverse aging with transplant of a poop. We don't know if it's actually going to work on humans or not. It worked in mice, but mice's brain is much different from the human brain. But maybe in the next couple of decades, I don't think it's going to be quick, they will find a way to treat microbiome in your gut in a way that will help to prolong your life and prolong your cognitive abilities, which is super cool. So we'll look after it and see what happens next. That's been it. Thank you very much for watching this episode of What Tickled My Pickle. I hope I tickled some of your pickles 2. If I did, hit that like button. If I didn't, hit the dislike button. Let me know in the comments below why it sucked, and we will see how to remedy the situation. If you liked what I do, leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
We gotta make them right, chillin' with mine. We triple up, they on a double up, triple dub. Came from the basement, we only going up. They loving us. Up in the booth, I'm getting dizzy, but they the cup is up. Toast to my people that's on the cup.